Welcome to tonight's Gentle Explainer. So go ahead and get cozy, settle in because we're going to explore a truly special classic tale. Tonight we're learning all about a mighty king and a tiny, tiny friend. Just imagine, if you will, a beautiful, dense forest absolutely filled with tall green trees and all sorts of wonderful animals. So, are you ready for a story about a very big lion and a very small friend? Okay, let's just dive right into this together and see exactly what happens deep in that dense forest. Snuggle in, take a nice deep breath, and let your imagination wander as we follow these two completely different creatures on a pretty amazing adventure. Act 1. The Sleepy Jungle King. Once upon a time, in that lush, magical forest, there lived a mighty lion. Now, he was actually feared by all the animals. Well, one really warm afternoon, after a big meal, he laid down and peacefully fell fast asleep. But nearby, a tiny, playful little mouse came out of its hole and started running around, just having fun. Now, these two couldn't be more different in size and strength, but they're about to meet completely by accident. Oh no! While he was running around, the little mouse accidentally scampered right across the sleeping lion's huge paw. The grumpy king woke up with a massive start, and he was absolutely furious. With one quick movement, he caught the tiny mouse in his giant paw and roared with his loud, scary voice. He yelled, "How dare you wake me up? I should eat you right now."
Act 2. A Tiny Mouse's Promise.
Trembling with fear, the little mouse looked way, way up at the giant king. He begged for mercy, and he actually made a really brave and very big promise. He said, "Please, Your Majesty, spare my life. I really did not mean to disturb you. If you let me go, I may be able to help you someday." Well, hearing this, the big lion just laughed out loud. His booming laugh echoed all through the trees. "You help me?" the lion chuckled. "You're so small, and I'm the strongest animal in the entire forest. And honestly, I bet you're wondering the exact same thing right now. How on earth could a tiny mouse ever help a mighty lion?" To the big king, it sounded like a totally silly idea. But then something beautiful happened. The lion's grumpy mood kind of softened. Even though he thought the mouse's promise was funny, the lion actually felt generous. He decided to do a very kind thing. "Very well," said the lion. "You may leave, but remember, you owe your life to my kindness." The little mouse thanked him so much and scurried away safely into the tall grass. Act 3. Caught in a Trap. So, a few days go by, and the story takes a pretty scary turn. Without even noticing, the lion accidentally stepped right into a hidden hunter's trap. Suddenly, he was totally trapped, and he roared incredibly loudly for help. Roar! His powerful, desperate cries echoed far and wide across the whole forest. You see, the king couldn't just break free because this really strong net had fallen completely over him. He was tangled up so tightly, the ropes were just way too strong, and even though he struggled with literally all of his incredible might, it was no use. Despite all that massive strength, the king of the jungle was completely stuck. Act 4. The Great Mouse Rescue. Now guess who heard those loud, desperate cries for help echoing through the dense trees? Yep, it was our tiny mouse. Remembering the wonderful kindness the big lion had shown him just days before, the little mouse immediately ran toward the sound. When he saw the mighty king trapped in the net, he bravely stepped right up to offer his help. "Do not worry, Your Majesty," the little mouse said softly. "I will help you." The lion was completely shocked. He still couldn't imagine how such a tiny creature could possibly save him from this mess. But the little mouse went right to work. Hearing the cry, he'd run straight there. And now he quickly began gnawing at those thick ropes with his sharp little teeth. He worked absolutely tirelessly, just chewing and chewing through one rope after another until they finally became weak and, snap, the ropes broke. The great lion was finally free. Act 5. Kindness is never wasted. The incredibly grateful king stepped right out of that heavy net, shaking his majestic mane. He looked down at his tiny savior with deep admiration, feeling the start of a brand new friendship and realizing he had made a huge mistake. "Thank you, my little friend," the lion said gently. "I was wrong to laugh at you. Today, you proved that even the smallest creature can help the strongest one."
He finally understood that true friends really do come in all shapes and sizes. And the little mouse, well, he just smiled back at the giant king and shared this truly wonderful wise thought. Kindness is never wasted, he said. One good deed always deserves another. It's such a beautiful reminder of how sharing our warmth and kindness always circles right back to us. So, if we look at the biggest takeaway of our explainer today, it leaves us with a wonderful moral to remember. And a moral is really just a gentle lesson about right and wrong that you learn from a story. It's like a little treasure you can keep in your heart forever. The treasures we found today are pretty simple. Kindness is never wasted. No act of kindness is ever too small, and even the very smallest friend can be a great, great help. The lion's small act of mercy actually ended up saving his own life later on, which proves for sure that no good deed is ever too tiny, because even the littlest friends can do absolutely amazing things.
So as you drift off to sleep tonight, wonderfully cozy and safe, I want you to think about this final question. What small act of kindness will you do tomorrow? Keep that gentle thought right in your mind, and always remember that from that day on, the mighty lion and the tiny mouse became the very best of friends in the whole dense forest, and the big king never ever underestimated a small creature again. Sweet dreams!